Okay, a brand new seafood option has come to the east side. Water Grill Bellevue opened for lunch and dinner in Lincoln Square last December. Their chef, Kaelon Sparks, joins me now, and this morning we are talking oysters. Welcome.
Thank you. Yeah, thanks for having me on. Anytime I can get a chance to talk about oysters, I'm going to jump right at the chance. So.
All right, well, first let's talk about this new restaurant. What do you feel like Water Grill is bringing to the table, if you will, that's unique?
Well, I mean, it's not super unique to have that kind of farm-to-table connection, but it's something that we've dedicated ourselves to. We like to come into a market and partner with as many local suppliers and local farmers as possible. And the best way that we're showcasing this is through our oyster program. We came to town and immediately we got a hold of Taylor Shellfish, we got a hold of Hamma Hamma, Baywater, and we said, all right, how can we get the best product in our door from people up here? So we started in Southern California, and there's tons of great seafood down there as well, but why come to the Northwest and not utilize all of the bounty we have up here?
Absolutely, and you have an array of options out here. I didn't know there were so many unique things, I guess, to point out about oysters. Yeah, so take us through what you have for us.
Well, I've got a few different varieties with me. I brought these onsets here, which are an eastern oyster. They grow on the East Coast. Virginicas is their name. Okay. And these ones here are the native oysters to the East Coast of the United States. And other than the Olympia, which we grow out here, it's the only other native oyster to America. Oh. The Pacifics, which I have over here.
Okay, on this side.
Yep, on this side. They are native to Japan, but primarily now they're only grown on the West Coast of the United States.
Now, what's the difference? Because you were talking about oysters from the East Coast versus oysters from the West Coast. What's the difference in terms of how they taste or go down?
There's a huge difference, but it's also still pretty subtle. With oysters, if I can go on a little tangent here, like with wine, we talk about terroir. With oysters, we have merroir. We have the flavor of its provenance. And so you can take the same oyster, grow it in two different places, and it's going to taste entirely different, even though it came from the same seed buds.
Okay, so let's shuck a little bit, I guess.
Great. Well, if you want to, yeah. No, we'll crack a couple cold ones, as we say. Yeah. So we can get a good angle here for the viewer at home. So you've got this oyster here. You've got your flat side, which we'll call the top, and then you've got your cup. So when you're going to shuck an oyster, I would recommend for someone doing it their first time to have a towel and just kind of brace it on the table. Okay. But the way we do it in the restaurant is we'll take a firm grip in our hand. We'll come in here right on the hinge, give a little push, and then we hear that crack.
Yeah, what's the name of the tool you're using? I mean, it looks like a
we
knife,
just call it an oyster knife.
Oyster knife,
yep,
okay.
Or even just a shucker. Yep. So we'll separate that abductor muscle from the top shell. You can see it here, hard for them at home, but there's a little muscle there. And then we're going to come underneath and we're going to separate it from the shell on the bottom. Wow. And so now we've got an oyster ready to eat.
Now, you were doing this slowly for us for television. I'm so curious, how many oysters can you do? Like, how fast are you really?
I can probably do a dozen in about a minute. I'm not the fastest I have, certainly. One of my shuckers, David Leck, who I've been working with for years, couple different awards he's won for speed, and he's just, it's insanity watching him work. Like, he'll just crack and just go through them and not even break a sweat.
That's awesome. Okay, what do you say for people who, I don't know, they maybe are a little skeptical about eating oysters? Is there a way to do it if you're like, hey, let me give this a shot again? Well, like for people like me.
It's about picking the right oyster, and I think the best one to have as an introductory oyster is going to be the Kumamoto. It's a different species as well. It comes from Japan, but we grow it up here. We'll also grow it in California. And that one has a pretty mild brine to it, so it's not super oceany tasting, and it's got really sweet flesh. And so if you crack that oyster, gulp it in, and then give it a quick chew, you'll release these really beautiful mineral notes and cucumber and melon notes, and it's really a wonderful experience.
Okay, so maybe I should try one, and then while I do that, maybe you talk about what else is out here. So
great, absolutely.
How do I eat this? Let's see.
Well, here, let's give you one to select here.
Okay.
Here, we'll just use the one that we just tried. My recommendation with these is just a little squeeze of lemon, but we do have a couple different sauces, mignonette being traditional. We have our habanero lime relish and then cocktail sauce. Okay. But I'm kind of a purist. I just like a little squeeze of lemon, and that's it. I think I've got a fork in here for you. Yep, right there.
Oh, there it is. Okay.
Yep, so you're just gonna tip
it that way. Is there a way to, this is so sad, y'all. Like, I don't eat oysters all day. I eat clams. Okay. Oh, this isn't bad. So just go for it. And you said a little chew first.
Just a little chew.
Okay. All right.
and then down, and it's super sweet. You've got a little bit of that salty brine, and then as it goes down and it sits on your tongue there, you'll get a little bit of that melon note.
This is good. It
Well,
makes
I'm glad
me
you
think
like it.
I need your water grill oysters, clearly.
Yeah, we've got 16 on the menu at all different times. We source them from East Coast, West Coast.
16?
16. We'll run 10 to 12 different Pacific varieties, and we source them as far south as Ensenada and then as far north as British Columbia, and then we'll have 5 to 6 of the eastern varieties.
Wow. Okay, what else do you serve there?
Well, I brought a little selection from our raw bar. We have a ton of really classic dishes on the menu, you know, cioppino. We'll do whole crustaceans. We keep 4 live tanks with king crab, Dungeness, our North American hardshell lobster, which I have over here on my right, and then we have another tank for our California spinies, which are in season right now on your left there. Next is our urchin. And so we'll offer those steamed, grilled, and they're very popular. We keep whole fish on the menu at all times, but for me, the attraction is the raw bar.
Okay.
You can come in and sit at the bar and sit right next to the people that are shucking.
And it looks like I saw some salmon on there, and I see some calamari. You have that too?
Oh yeah, fried calamari, great, quick fry. You know, the secret with calamari, 45 seconds. You don't want to go too much longer than that. Everyone thinks you're gonna get it, you know, it's not gonna be crispy enough. Not the case.
What I love about Water Grill, haven't been just yet, but obviously getting this taste, is that you talk about 16 different, you know, options for oysters. So you can go there with a big oyster fan, and if you want to try some of the other options, you have a lot to offer.
Oh, tons. Yeah. We've got some entry-level oysters like the Kumamoto, and then we've got some more kind of exploratory ones that I think are worth trying. The Pai Pai out of Ensenada is one of my favorites. And if I could just briefly talk about it, so when oysters grow, they'll grow wide, and so the farmer or the grower will tumble them like rocks to try to shave it off and create a deeper cup on the bottom. So the Pai Pai oysters, these farmers down there are doing that cracking by hand to each single oyster. And so I think it's just got a fantastic story to it.
It sounds like this is an experience at Water Grill for sure.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah. Awesome. Yeah. Open for lunch and dinner.
Lunch and dinner, Lincoln Square in Bellevue. Yeah, come on down to the raw bar and hang out with my guys David, Carlos, and Manny and say hello.
All right, Chef Kaelon, thank you.
Thank you so much.